This is a quick update to my Dow 14,000 and World War III warning. The Dow is now up well over 14,000, up into the 14,300s, which just goes to show how manically insane American society has become. Because meanwhile, while I was focused on the threat of Syria and a chemical scud attack on Israel, which I believe will be the trigger point for an apocalyptic nuclear war that will destroy the United States. In the meantime, all of a sudden the Korean Peninsula has become a focus of concern. Today, UN sanctions were approved against North Korea, and in response or in association with this, North Koreans have declared that they were going to abrogate the armistice that ended the Korean War between North and South Korea. Technically, South Korea and North Korea are still at war. I think what's important to keep in mind about that is North Korea and South Korea, this is the final battle line between communism and capitalism. I think it's very symbolic that the South Korean flag has on it the yin-yang symbol, because in essence what we're talking about is this conflict, this bipolar conflict, as I point out in my thesis on Manic Depressive Man, between East and West, totalitarianism and individualism. Whereas individualism in Western society in America has reached the peak of their influence and dominance in the world, when the downswing occurs, it is associated with the rise of totalitarian forces from the East. A simple example of that was the Roaring '20s and the stock market top in 1929, the historic top in 1929, preceding the Great Depression, because then you had the Great Crash in 1929, the Great Depression, and this was followed by the rise of the Axis powers, including Tojo in Italy, Tojo in Japan, Mussolini in Italy, and Hitler in Germany, and of course Stalin in Russia. And these totalitarian dictators then thrust a war upon the world that led to a nadir in the beliefs and expectations and mood of the West, which I think reached its extreme when Nazi Germany reached its highest level of domination of continental Europe around 1942, and that's when technically I think the last supercycle bottom, according to the Elliott wave principle, occurred. Now we're at the grand supercycle top in the stock market according to Elliott wave principle, and as I've been warning, the next wave down should be deemed the apocalypse wave. So the current all-time highs in Dow Jones Industrial Average, but not the S&P, not the overall market, is suggestive that we're about to enter the most forceful wave down in the grand supercycle collapse. And as I've been warning, that should take the form of a third world war. Whereas the Middle East is definitely on the burner with regard to it could explode at any time. And of course, this would be with the Golan Heights and the conflict between Syria and Israel. All of a sudden, now entering the news is that North Korea is scrapping the armistice, is ready to go to war with South Korea. I would take the current threats of North Korea very seriously. And in this respect, I'm presenting some videos that just appeared on KCNA, the North Korean news network, that seems to suggest that they are ready for war.
하였다 하였다.
승리적 전쟁을 바라봤자 이 세상에 없으며 최후의 승리는 반드시 우리의 것입니다.
승리한 전쟁에는 조국 통일대전으로 최후 승리를 결정했으며 모든 것을 최우선으로 생산되는 어떤 시기의 상태에도 공수고 대체가 갈 수 있는 만나는 중요한 문제를 가지고 있습니다. 전문조선이 최후 승리로 종신자를 어째 그랬냐?
적들이 이번 핵전쟁 연습에는 지난해와 달리 방대한 핵타격 수단과 병력이 투입되고 남선 계례군과 오중이 또중이 추성국가 무력들까지 떼를 지어 기어들고 있습니다. 그러나 우리는 적들과의 싸움에서 언제나 승리한다는 든든한 배심에 넘쳐 있습니다. 천출명장이신 경야는 최고사령관 김정은 원수님께서 계시오. 우리 인민군대는 침략의 무리들 이 땅에서 영영 쓸어버려야 말 것입니다.
우리 인민군대는 경련은 최고사령관 김정은 원수님께서 구워주신 조국통일대전의 화살표를 따라 남녘땅을 단숨에 깔고 앉겠습니다. 우리 인민군대는 적들이 미처 항복할 사이도 없이 미제 침략자들과 구추종 세력들을 씨도 없이 죽탁쳐버림으로써 조국통일의 역사적 위협을 기어이 실현하겠습니다.
원수들이 핵으로 위협하면 우리는 그보다 더 유력한 정밀 핵타격 수단으로 맞선다는 것이 우리 군대와 인민이 억척불면의 신음이고 백두산식 대응 방식입니다. 이제 그 투정 세력들은 운명의 갈림길에 서 있다는 것을 한시도 잊지 말고 경고망동하지 말아야 합니다. 만약 미제가 전쟁의 도화선에 불을 난다면 우리 인민내무군 장병들은 그 기회를 한순간도 놓치지 않고 민족의 수원인 조국통일대업을 기어이 일으켜야 말겠습니다.
우리의 위협은 정당하며 최후의 승리는 우리의 것입니다. 조선인민군 최고사령부 특별히 생명에 접한 우리 인민내무군 장병들의 무적 필승의 기상은 이 땅 이 하늘을 무섭게 튀어늘고 있습니다. 미제가 핵무기를 휘두르면 우리는 이전과는 완전히 달리 다정화된 우리식의 핵무기 타격으로 서울만이 아니라 워싱턴 지붕까지 불바다로 만들 것입니다.
But people in this country, they don't want to hear. We are too busy shopping and having fun in this country. Oh, it's all so unpleasant. World War III. Now, what is unpleasant is that if what I'm saying is true, within 5 years, most of the people in this room will be dead. This is April Fool's Day, but this isn't an April Fool's joke. This is serious. Now, if I'm wrong about this, I'm wrong in a big way. But I've been researching this for a lot of years, and I've talked to a lot of people in government, in intelligence work, and I've heard some things that fit together so perfectly. They connect the dots on this. There is the work of Anatoly Golitsyn, KGB defector, who said that Russia was planning a spectacular collapse to change their system, to bring liberalism and democracy, but as a deception, to disarm the West psychologically and militarily, and to prepare the way for a sudden turning of the tables. He called it a weakness in strength dialectic. It comes from Sun Tzu. When you are strong, you appear weak. When you are weak, you want to appear strong. Hold out baits to entice the enemy, feign disorder, and then crush him. It is amazing that through to the late 1990s, Russia continued to build nuclear-proof underground cities, one under Yamato Mountain that is as large as Washington, D.C. It is believed to house missile and atomic factories. It is more than 1,000 feet under the ground, cannot be even reached by tunneling missiles. There are tunnels so massive that come out from this complex. There are 4 railroad tracks wide. And Russia has railroad mobile ICBMs. They have mobile ICBMs, a weapon that we don't even have. And you cannot count these because they can be hidden in caves, they can be hidden in tunnels, and you don't know how many they have. We know from spying on Russia for years that they developed an arsenal of some 10 to 20,000 strategic nuclear weapons, 20,000 tactical nuclear weapons, which they still possess. We have not to this day had an accounting of where these weapons were, whether they were destroyed, and there are many experts in Washington who are troubled by this. I believe that America, because of the unwariness in this country, is going to be attacked and overwhelmed at the outset of this war. I don't believe we're going to lose it, because I believe that Russia is a very weak country. China is a very weak country, despite their numbers. And that's why they use deception. Throughout the Cold War, Russia never had a chance against the United States of America. That's why they turned to this strategy. They realized that they would be destroyed in a war. So they had to use proxy attack methods, deception, long-term deception, and they had to try to change their system to make it more workable because the Stalin system was not workable.